the former Afghan Youth Representative to the United Nations and the co-founder of the global network of the former Youth Delegates to the United Nations. In the aftermath of Taliban takeover in August last year, Ramiz wrote an open letter to the UN Secretary General, which later on contributed to the adoption of a resolution by the Human Rights Council to create a special rapporteur in order to monitor the situation of human rights in Afghanistan. Ramiz, thank you very much for joining. Can you please share more about this letter and specifically talk us through how the global network of youth delegates to the United Nations is now advocating for the rights of Afghan youth in Afghanistan?
Thank you very much, Aisha. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Ramiz Bakhtiar. I'm from Afghanistan, but I'm currently based in Toronto, Canada. I left Afghanistan 3 years ago, and since then I've been based in Canada. The network of former youth delegates to the United Nations was established in 2020 when my friend and fellow youth delegate Lika Turkashvili realized that there was a lack of platform within the United Nations to keep UN youth delegates active and engaged in the work of the United Nations. As a result of which, a huge potential was wasted because our friendships only remained online, and there wasn't a mechanism to be either involved at the work of the United Nations or have a platform to continue our activism together. So we decided to establish a network to unite and mobilize UN delegates from around the world. And we conducted a global consultation with 100 plus UNU delegates from different countries and different generations, the result of which is this organization. We work globally with young people, with youth-led organizations. We're also working closely with different departments within the United Nations and UN agencies in different countries. We advocate for meaningful participation and inclusion of young people, not only in Afghanistan, but globally, because we believe that the voices of young people matter, and they should be heard in rooms where important decisions are being made. In August of 2021, after the collapse of the previous Afghan government, we wrote a letter, an open letter to the UN Secretary General, in which we asked the Secretary General to take a stronger stance regarding Afghanistan. And we also warned him of the situation of education in Afghanistan. We also asked for the protection of youth and children in Afghanistan, because young people are affected disproportionately by all kinds of violence, and their agency and their concerns are important. Our open letter was endorsed by 150 human rights activists and youth activists from around the world and 20 organizations globally. We believe that education is a vital matter, and it determines the present and the future of Afghan youth. That's why our colleagues, mainly Aisha and Lika, stepped in a few months ago, and they organized our first meeting, high-level meeting with the UN Youth Envoy, which my colleague Lika will tell you more about.
Thank you very much, Ramiz. So our next speaker is Lika. Lika is the former Georgian youth delegate to the United Nations and the co-founder of the global network of youth delegates together with Ramiz. I vividly remember 7 months ago when I left the country after the collapse. Lika and I met online for the first time, and we have discussed the issue of girls' education in Afghanistan. We didn't have an answer to the crisis, but we have promised to do something about it. So the first idea was to connect female students with the UN Youth Envoy office and the universities that we are currently studying in. And this connection led to ideas and actions that made us hopeful for finding an answer and probably an alternative for the failing educational system in Afghanistan that deprives girls of their basic human rights, which is access to education. Lika, why don't you share with our audience the outcome of our February meeting with the Unit Envoy Office and the pilot project following that? And probably at the end, you can touch upon some of the hopes you have for this initiative and its future.
Thank you, Aisha, and thank you, Ramiz, and thanks to all the colleagues joining us today. I also remember meeting Aisha online, and a very interesting and unique thing about our partnerships with the UN youth delegates from around the world is the fact that we meet online, we talk online, we organize ourselves online, and we are a future-oriented youth organization that believes that technologies can serve as solutions, not only for peace and partnerships, but also for education crisis. And I will shortly tell you a little bit more about our vision for potential solutions for Afghanistan with online education. Briefly about I would like to briefly give an overview of the process which led to the roundtable discussion that we're having today. As Aisha already mentioned, we saw the need to elevate the voices of young people on the ground, and our network is in a unique position where we're still connected with the United Nations, and we are also connected with the youth in countries around the world. So when I asked Aisha if we can mobilize young activists from Afghanistan to share the needs and ideas from the ground, it didn't take Aisha too long to get in touch with her colleagues and friends and find amazing activists who really summarized some of the key issues and key solutions. This meeting happened in February of 2020. We had, of course, the UN Youth Envoy from the United Nations side. We had representatives from UNFPA and UNICEF. We also had university representatives because the idea was to channel our ideas and youth voices to various international university representatives. We had Bard College and Bennington College represented, and Afghan students from 7 different provinces of Afghanistan. A lot of thoughts were shared in this meeting. A lot of them had to do with safeguarding female students, with a lack of female teachers, with a lack of access, with a lack of technology, with a lack of internet access, with a lack of protection. But the unique part of this meeting was that we did not only talk about concerns and problems, because that is a very long conversation. We wanted to talk about solutions in this meeting, and we wanted to have unique solutions, future-oriented solutions, solutions that can actually work. And I'm very proud and happy that this was not just a meeting for the sake of a meeting, which often happens, unfortunately, these days. This was a meeting to find a solution, and we did find a solution. The immediate solution from this meeting was a pilot project in partnership with Bennington College, which I spearheaded. The idea was to enroll students from Afghanistan into online education in Bennington. This was done free of charge. The students were able to pick classes that interested them and had support from professors. They met the students in real online time, and in the end, they got the credit for their work, and the credits are transferable and can be used in the future. This was one of the solutions. This is a model that can be supported and can work in the future, but there is a very big issue with this model, and the issue is, of course, access to internet and access to technology. We asked UN agencies on the ground in Afghanistan if maybe we could use their offices. The students could go to their offices and connect online into online education from different universities. But we also have idea of e-learning centers, which my friend and colleague Hasib will tell you more about how this could work and how more students can be enrolled in online education, not only in universities around the world, but also in different educational platforms. Another idea that was shared in the meeting, which is also something that has been working, is tested and can be supported further, is students acting as teachers. We have several students joining us today who decided to teach their peers, school students, younger people, and this worked as well. And this is also a solution that can be elevated and supported further in the future. Our hope with this meeting is, of course, to share more ideas and discuss potential solutions. But our big hope is to continue partnership with Bennington College, with other American universities, and of course have support from the UN agencies on the ground to further advance online education idea, because we believe that that is the future. It's where the entire world is shifting right now. It's convenient, it's easy, and it can really work, as we already tested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leka, for your unwavering commitment and for your strong advocacy. Now we are at the second part, one of the very important part of our discussion, which is the student voice. We have our first student speaker, Aisha Farhat Safi. She's now in Kabul and she's joining us online. Aisha is a law student at Al-Biruni University of Kordistan, and she has recently been part of our discussion with the Youth Envoy office, and consequently she received the opportunity to get enrolled at the Bennington University for the spring semester